Well, wasn't yesterday fun? Nothing as good for the soul as watching the Tories absolutely detonate in real time, but as the reality of Truss and Kwarteng's idiotic mini-budget became ever clearer, as the Bank of England threw down the gauntlet and effectively said, do something about your mess, because we're not going to keep bailing out investments and pension pots forever, she managed to go and make things even worse. In 1 month, Liz Truss has tanked the economy, and she has blamed her made-up anti-growth coalition for it. She's blamed the war in Ukraine, like Tories have done for everything else, and she's even blamed the Queen for dying. I mean, I can't honestly think of a more clear-cut example of the Tories blaming someone else for their own mess, which they always do, than that, because it's so utterly unhinged. She is so full of shit, she should be made to carry a loo roll around with her wherever she goes. But yesterday she found someone else to blame, as Kwasi Kwarteng was fired for carrying out all the policies she promised she would, that she would implement if the 0.2% of the electorate that happened to be Tory members voted for her to become PM. We are a global laughingstock for this, the mother of all parliaments, the ultimate seat of democracy, and what in God's name is democratic about this? This is no mandate to rule, no mandate to deviate from the admittedly shit policies Johnson had left her with. She has no right to do anything but stick with the mandate she had inherited. Instead, she's chosen to do her own thing, which Tory members can agree with all they like, but there's no democratic right to implement any of it when the vast majority of the country has had no say. Kwarteng became her fall guy, Chancellor for just 38 days, the second shortest tenure of a Chancellor in history, managing to only outdo a guy who happened to die of a heart attack in office by 8 days. Giving way, incidentally, to the Tory Chancellor who implemented that worst of all budgets, Anthony Barber. At least it was the worst, until this one, I suppose. Truss had to pull off a stroke of genius yesterday. It all hinged on her speech, and it was 8 minutes of drivel, and that included 4 questions, all of which were from the Tory Graph, the Scum, the BBC, and Robert Peston, and even then she dithered over her options. She then scuttled off to media disbelief, faster than Donald Trump's hair in a hurricane. She needs to last until New Year to avoid being the shortest term PM in history. I really can't see it happening. She's dug her own grave with a spade fashioned from the stupid stick, hit herself with it more than she's dug the hole, and now just needs to get on with the rest of her career funeral and be done with it.